tarot reading. It's Allie, your friendly mystic. Just a few things to start with, like I do in every video. My readings are timeless, so there is no timeline as necessarily this reading will be tied to. I just post these monthly to keep myself on a regular schedule. So this is not a reading of November. It's a reading just posted in November. You will find the reading when you're meant to find it. If the title of the video is resonating with you, then this reading is likely for you. My readings are also very general, so I set the intention that these readings are for those who need them, so that the message I'm communicating is for those who need it, not necessarily those who would like it or would want it. So if this reading doesn't resonate with you, if this reading is confusing, not really, clicking, then this video is not for you. This reading's not for you, and that's okay. There's so many other YouTube tarot readers that I'm sure you could find the reading that you're looking for. It's very general, yeah. I can't really read for everybody at once. It would really water down the messages, so I'm not God. Can't really do that. What else? These readings are intended, you can watch this for your sun, moon, or rising placement, and any other strong personal placements. I have a video, I still haven't figured out where I'm linking it or how I'm linking it, but I recorded a video with some more information about how to interpret tarot readings as a watcher, and also more in-depth astrological information to actually help you pick other strong personal placements. But a good place to start is always the rising and then the sun and moon, and I also provide ways on how to prioritize either the sun or the moon. But yeah, I think that's it. Pretty sure. I should honestly keep a checklist or something, but I don't have one. Anyway, I'm going to pick your tarot decks right now, Gemini, and we'll get right into it. All right, so I have 3 decks picked out. So at the beginning of all my readings now, since I just finished this project, I created my own major arcana deck. So I've collaged each different major arcana card, and I will draw one at the beginning of your reading as basically a touchstone. It's either gonna be the general energy around your reading, or the major life lesson that's going to be coming through in the situation that I'm reading for. So whichever one resonates most, take that. I have just my trusty, I almost said trusty dusty. It is kind of dusty. It's an old, it's a vintage deck. But I have some plain Rider-Waite, my old reliable, and for your oracles, I gravitated towards the medicine cards. So I'm going to get right into it and get started with the major arcana. So, source, spirit guides, benevolent angels, they're all benevolent, aren't they? Benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect with the collective of Gemini and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect with the collective of Gemini and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect with the collective of Gemini and communicate the messages in their highest good. The Hierophant. So these are huge. They're really big cards. I had to make them big to collage them, but these are the original collages. The Hierophant. I'm feeling like either it might work in both ways, but I'm feeling as though there is some figure or some sort of mentor figure coming through. This may be a spirit guide in and of themselves, but some need for structure around a mentorship, an elder, a guide, might come through as a form of a person, may come through as a higher self. but definitely some sort of mystic or shaman. I usually see the Hierophant as a shaman, a more experienced person who's been on the path longer, who helps guide younger souls um, through, and maybe a younger soul could be, older than by material years, but um, you know, they haven't incarnated as many times or within this current incarnation. They're kind of in a younger soul vibe, but guidance is kind of the ultimate thing I'm getting. Either you are being called to be a hierophant or you are having a hierophant. One second. You are having a hierophant come into your life, or finding even the value in a structured practice of spirituality, or potentially even religion. So, yeah, okay. I think that covers that. So I'm going to put this here. I like to keep it here to preside over the reading, but we'll start there and get right into your tarot cards. But let's see. What messages do you have for Gemini? What's Gemini going through? What's Gemini feeling? Ooh. Let's see. What are you going through, Gemini? What's happening? Oh. Maybe. I think that's good. Okay. I think there's a sense of dissatisfaction with work. Or like the labors you create or have. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. But I see there's a work situation, something we've devoted a lot of energy and time to, and then the sense of like a thought coming into the mind, but like, is that actually what I want? Which is that's very Gemini. Really needing to evaluate, and then a sort of searching inventory that happens as a result of the dissatisfaction. And there's some confusion about whether or not this thing you've devoted a lot of time to is really what you're needing to, like the thing you actually want to proceed with. So there is that sense of evaluation between two options, two wands, kind of having a more worldly perspective. Maybe you've recently gone through some sort of experience that's really broadening the way you looked at things and like what your values actually are. So now you're actually having to evaluate what the thing is, how you feel about it, what actually brings you happiness, and brings you fulfillment. So that's very, very new. And that may be very hard to let go of the thing you've been working on very diligently and the thing you've been crafting for a long time. But I think it's very encouraging to see that you're willing to do the inventory at all. But we're just a little bit confused about it. Yeah, totally confused. Really can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Kind of like the stars haven't come out, so you can't really navigate yet, or it's cloudy, you can't see it. That's interesting. Right. And part of the issue, Gemini, is that we want to kind of just be in our masculine mode. So this might be for feminine Geminis, or for, I tend to find that Geminis who are in the female body tend to be learning how to integrate the masculine into the feminine, and vice versa if they're in a masculine body. But I feel like we really want to just be in a masculine do mode and really not do, and having a hard time integrating that and doing the inner reflection. I think that's really where the difficulty is coming from, and the reason why this page is reversed. I feel like a Page of Swords is very much a Gemini kind of energy. I don't know if vacillating is the word I'd use, but I would say that the Page of Swords is probably I want to say the quickest of mine, though the Knight might be quicker, but it's very, very light on its feet, very, very able and nimble. and flexible. As Gemini minds tend to be very, very flexible, which is a curse and a blessing. I know, I'm a Gemini sun. But there is this real difficulty with trying to integrate this, sense of, what's the word? Like a sense, you already have a sense of dominion, and you've really cultivated this ability, this thing you've been crafting already. You feel like you're in charge of it. So it's hard, I think, part of the confusion is happening or coming through because you don't want to, it's hard to let go. And it's also because you've been in this very masculine element, doing the internal thing, the more feminine, receptive thing is more difficult for you. I do see the Hermit as a rather feminine card, though in the Rider-Waite it's just depicted by a man, but it's necessary. This is interesting. Shuffling backwards. Let's try this. But I do think that it will reward you. Oh, okay. There we go. Interesting. Yeah, I was sensing that inability, but it's really new territory for you to get into the feminine, especially the kind of feminine that sees beyond. That's very High Priestess. Yeah. So the how do I explain this? But like a High Priestess being like the old wise woman, the older wise woman that is able to pierce the veil, able to receive messages because she allows for what will come. She doesn't try to push what she thinks will happen. She doesn't try to seek it out. She empties herself and allows and becomes a vessel to hold. And I think that's very difficult for you, Gemini. Just being a masculine element, that can be very difficult for that energy. So I do sense that you're working on it. At least I'd like to. If you aren't, no time like the present to really get in touch with your feminine, the intuitive side of yourself. Because right now you're not really you're not able to see the Ten of Pentacles that could be in front of you, and you won't be able to receive the Ten of Pentacles until you actually embrace the feminine, or you're able to actually establish a connection with your feminine as well as your masculine. And I see that when you do get to that point, it's like you just charge headfirst towards success. I quite like that. That is quite nice. But yeah, right now we're in this state of confusion of like, oh, but is it this? Is it this? As a Gemini, I definitely understand the monkey mind kind of going all over the place trying to find the answer, when the answer is to get quiet and get empty and kind of allow for the universe to tell you. It's a relinquishing of control. So much of the power of Gemini comes from being able to think, and comes from being able to, comes from the flexibility of mind, the busyness of mind. But that is, again, a double-edged sword, which, when we aren't balanced, we aren't able to utilize or wield very effectively, and we end up cutting ourselves. So right now we're really cut off from our feminine energy that would really serve us in finding why it is that we're dissatisfied in our work, and why it is that we're dissatisfied in the thing we think we've been wanting for a very long time, and maybe this has changed very recently, or you don't even remember when it changed. You just kind of got to this point where you're like, I'm fed up and I don't know. So I do think in this situation there is definitely a need for the mentor shaman kind of practice to come in, so that you can inhabit. So the Hierophant, and especially, or the Hierophant is kind of the masculine expression of the High Priestess, but the ability to actually, to be a shaman still requires this. It's almost like a masculine expression of something that is inherently feminine. That's part of why in this card I used a feminine figure, though kind of stoic and a little bit stern, to represent the Hierophant. I also really love that it's a sepia photograph, versus this very like high polished, or not versus really, but like juxtaposed against this very, I want to see how close I can get. Juxtaposed against this very youthful and fresh, detailed, crisp, colorful photography. That's kind of, yeah. I was very lucky with how, what material I had to collage with, but again, it's the masculine expression of something inherently feminine, and it's kind of like the ability to take the things from the High Priestess or this feminine energy and actually make it coherent, because a lot of the time it can feel as though, and I think this is probably the difficulty with you, Gemini, is that what you receive from the feminine doesn't make sense, and you want it to make sense, and that's kind of the issue. You can't just make it make sense, especially not in the here and now. You may be receiving messages, the star, you may be receiving messages that you're just like, I don't understand how that fits. I don't get why I would receive that. So, you might discredit it or disregard it, but sometimes you receive something now and it'll make sense 6 months later. It'll make sense a week from now. It'll make sense in an hour. But there needs to be a level of trust, which I do think that the star inhabits, is a level of trust and faith that those messages will make sense when they are meant to make sense. In order to channel, in order to get in touch with your intuition, the High Priestess in you, inside of you, it really does take a level of trust and surrender, that what you need to be made clear will become clear to you if you remain with, eyes closed, hands open. So yeah, let's see. Is there anything else? I kind of want to look at the very triumphant Six of Wands energy with the Knight of Wands. But yeah, also the Ten of Cups, or the Ten of Pentacles. That will be wonderful. Like, what does that look like? It looks like, I think, confusion and difficulty at first. Though the moon is interesting. The word graha came to mind, grasper. I don't know if it's a Vedic word for the planets, or what Vedic astrologers or Indian astrologers will call planets, but graha and grasper is just being caught up in the interesting. Okay, hold on. I think I need to pull more cards. But with the moon in astrology, at least in the astrology I study, often signifies the material realm that you live in, the material circumstances that you were living through, the material karma of your life, and I am getting that there is a sense of being caught up in that, and needing to release that, and that's where the difficulty comes from. Let's pull more cards, because I'm not sure. I don't know if that's for everybody. I don't think that's for everybody. At least anybody this reading is resonating with. And again, okay. This card is like, there's a lot. I think there's a level of like not trusting the path you're on, or even not being able to see the path as the, you know, the dark of the night kind of muddle things together. It really marries everything into one, and it's hard to find the distinct path that you're meant to take, or that you want to, or you that would bring the fulfillment that you're looking for. In this sort of pensive moon energy. I love this moon card because the face is just so pensive, so tight, like confused, going through a dark night of the soul, perhaps. Yeah. That's gonna, cause, okay. Dark night of the soul. There's a lot coming through this one moon card. But this dissatisfaction that's led you to seek, will likely lead you through a dark night of the soul. That's going to be definitely a time of needing a mentor, needing a guiding figure or guidance in general, to navigate. I know going through a dark night of the soul on your own is incredibly difficult, and pretty scary. You need, you know, people who have been through these things to really put perspective around it. But as much as a dark night of the soul is really painful and difficult to pass through, at the end, that's when you see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's when you get the star upright. Any more messages for Gemini? Any more messages for Gemini? Oh, okay. Lots of major arcana. In this spread, we're getting at least, do I seriously have to count? 5 so far, maybe more. We'll see. Oh, wow. 6. Queen of Cups. Yeah, I was definitely feeling the dark night of the soul. So we have a death card in reverse, the devil, and then a Queen of Cups, all in line with, how do I hold all these cards at once? Okay, hold on. See that? If that doesn't make you shit your pants, I don't know what will. But a devil card, a death card, definitely some releasing around, I would say, harmful, toxic cycles of, I mean, like, this seems like a lot of releasing of self-loathing, or even just like not a lack of nourishing the emotional self. You might find inner child work and reparenting your inner child very helpful right now. Because I see a Queen of Cups in reverse as definitely a person who seeks to have their emotional needs fulfilled outside of them before they fill their own cup up. So they're trying to have their cup filled by other people before they actually, you know, do the self-care and take care of themselves. They rely on other people to make themselves whole. This could also just be like a heart expansion, a need for a releasing of how closed off you've been. But yeah, there's definitely a death. This is really just a death of something that's kept you locked in place for a very long time. But once that happens, you kind of get into this very confused, muddled, disconnected, lost energy, which will ultimately lead you to something better. We'll pull a little more, and then we'll pull medicine cards for this situation. Definitely needing medicine. You might also, if you are kind of trying to release and end old addictive behaviors, old addictions, period, that you were using to cope emotionally, and now that you don't, it's almost either, okay, so this could go one of two ways. This has already happened, and now that thing you've been building up for so long is suddenly doesn't look the same, and it's very disruptive to your life, and now you have to do this whole seeking thing, and you feel kind of lost on a winding path. This may have come first, this the death of this devil energy, or it's you're in this state of like, why aren't I happy, or like, why am I not happy with this in particular, and realize that you need to go through this death and devil energy. And the Hierophant can also, I feel like, refer to a therapist, or going through, therapy or counseling of some kind, to really help you navigate this. So, that's too many, Spirit. Sorry. We do less. That is technically less, but still too much. I want one more card. Yep. You're cheating yourself. You've been cheating yourself, and I think that's what you're not willing to do anymore. Really not willing to continue to cut corners, both spiritually and in the material, and not willing to just try to, fulfill desires by any means. I'm not sure if that really counts. I guess, maybe Spirit was trying to give me to have more cards because the message is difficult to parse otherwise, but yeah. Old patterns of behavior are no longer going to serve you, and I think you're kind of realizing that they're going to catch up to you at some point. So, or they have caught up to you, and now you're kind of in this place where you're just like, I've been building this thing this whole time, and now I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So if you continue, I'm feeling as though if you continue this pattern of, these patterns of behavior, you'll end up kind of in this major loss. But the sooner you're able to let go of what you'll lose in this, evaluation inventory process, the faster you will, more quickly you will process this difficult time, a difficult dark night of the soul. So I am going to pull some medicine cards for you. I usually do about 2. But if you liked this reading, you'd like to get more readings like this, you can subscribe, Gemini, and hit the little bell notification so you get notified every time I post. And if you'd like to exchange the energy for this reading, if it's been helpful for you, this was your reading this month, then you can hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. And I'd also love to hear how this reading or how this situation is affecting your life, if this is for you. If you, any comments, concerns, complaints, you can leave below in the comment section. And if you are wanting a personal reading from me, I am available for those. I have a link in the description to my website, friendlymystic.com, where you can get, you can find all that information. So, come on. Come on. Why is this not playing nice? There we go. This deck is just like slightly too big for my hands. perfect. We have Otter Spirit with Eagle Spirit. That's interesting. An 8 and a 1. So I am going to... Otter I already know is like being able to share in the joy of others. And Eagle I know relates to Spirit, Father Sky, things like that. But I'm going to get the book really quick. I think I need to read for Eagle. It's been a while since I've pulled Eagle. But we'll go through both of these. We'll start with Otter, I think. That'll make the most sense. Come on. Alright, come on, Butterfly. They both come up upright. But this is Otter. This is woman medicine, very interesting. Otter is always, and Otter does have very Gemini and like flexible, curious energy, but let's see. These character traits are the beauty of a balanced female side. Again, okay. So this is, I think this is supposed to be speaking to the needing to develop the feminine and the joyful feminine. The Otter is really about expressing joy for others, being able to enjoy the happiness of other people without jealousy, being able to share what you have unjealously. So okay, this is the one I needed to flip to. If you have drawn this symbol, Otter may be telling you to become the playful child and to simply allow things to unfold in your life. It may be time, wow, interesting. It may be time to stop your addiction to worrying. That may not be for you, but definitely stop your addiction kind of came through. And then we will quickly look at Eagle. These are pretty long passages, so I'm not going to read all of them. Okay. I just had to read this line. This is about developing that connection to the divine. So once you are able to release, I don't need to read that all now. I got what I needed. Sometimes Spirit will just have me open the book to a line. But Otter is really about getting in touch with your feminine in a joyful way, being able to just simply be and allow things to happen. And the Eagle is really about your connection to the divine. So when you're able to actually just simply allow to trust, then your connection to the divine becomes stronger or more apparent, because you're never apart from the divine. It's really an illusion we have chosen to live through. But it will really just come through, and you will get a clarity of vision, because like thinking of the word eagle eye, being able to see, having a overview, and above a bird's eye view of everything that's happening. You're not mired in it so deeply. When you become playful and curious about what it is that's actually happening. Though I do sense that it will be a difficult journey for you, Gemini, but it will be worth it. Trust and believe. All right, Gemini. I'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by. I hope this was helpful for you, and take care. Bye.